In the rugged hill country of Ephraim, where the wind whispered over barley fields and olive groves, there lived a man named Elkanah and his 2 wives, Peninnah and Hannah. Peninnah bore him children, but Hannah had none. In a time when childlessness was considered a curse, her heart was heavy with shame. Yet beneath that sorrow flickered a quiet faith, a certainty that the Lord of hosts still saw her tears. Each year they went up to Shiloh, where the tabernacle of the Lord stood, and there, before the priest Eli, Hannah poured out her soul. She wept bitterly, vowing, "O Lord of hosts, if you will indeed look on the affliction of your handmaid and give unto your servant a man-child, then I will give him unto the Lord all the days of his life, and no razor shall touch his head." 1 Samuel 1:11. Eli, seeing her lips move but hearing no sound, thought she was drunk and rebuked her. But Hannah answered with humility, "No, my Lord, I am a woman of sorrowful spirit. I have drunk neither wine nor strong drink, but have poured out my soul before the Lord." Touched by her sincerity, Eli blessed her, saying, "Go in peace, and the God of Israel grant thee thy petition." In time her prayer was fulfilled. She conceived and bore a son, and named him Samuel, saying, "Because I have asked him of the Lord." 1 Samuel 1:20. True to her vow, when the boy was weaned, she brought him to Shiloh with offerings, and left him in the service of Eli the high priest. "For this child I prayed," she said, "and the Lord hath granted me my petition. Therefore I have lent him to the Lord. As long as he liveth, he shall be lent to the Lord." Hannah's song resounded in the sanctuary, a hymn of exultation and prophecy, echoing themes that would one day find voice in Mary's Magnificat. "My heart rejoiceth in the Lord. Mine horn is exalted in the Lord. The Lord killeth and maketh alive. He bringeth down to the grave and bringeth up." 1 Samuel 2:1-6. It was more than a mother's joy. It was a vision of divine justice, a reminder that God exalts the humble and brings down the proud. As the years passed, Samuel grew in the courts of the Lord. Each year his mother came to Shiloh, bringing him a small robe she had sewn by hand, a token of her love and faith. But around him, shadows were lengthening. Eli's sons, Hophni and Phinehas, priests of the sanctuary, were corrupt. They exploited the offerings, defiled the altar, and brought shame to the priesthood. 1 Samuel 2:12-17. A nameless prophet came to Eli with a warning. "Behold, the days come that I will cut off thine arm, and the sign shall be this: both thy sons shall die in one day." 1 Samuel 2:31-34. Yet amid that corruption, Samuel shone with purity. The child Samuel grew on and was in favor both with the Lord and with men. Then one night in Shiloh, as the lamp of God flickered low and the silence of the tabernacle deepened, the voice of the Lord broke through the stillness. "Samuel." Thinking it was Eli, the boy ran to his master, saying, "Here am I." But Eli sent him back to lie down. Again the voice came, "Samuel." And again he rose, until Eli perceived that it was the Lord who called the child. Trembling, Samuel obeyed Eli's instruction. "Speak, Lord, for thy servant heareth." 1 Samuel 3:10. And the word of God came, "A judgment upon Eli Iwes' house for the sins of his sons." When morning came, Samuel feared to tell Eli the vision, but Eli insisted. Hearing it, the old priest bowed his head and said, "It is the Lord. Let him do what seemeth him good." From that day, all Israel knew that Samuel was established as a prophet of the Lord, for the word of the Lord was with him, and none of his words fell to the ground. 1 Samuel 3:19-21. Beyond Shiloh, the Philistine threat was growing. Israel was disunited, the Ark of the Covenant their talisman more than their treasure. Soon the Ark would be taken into battle, and tragedy would sweep through the land. The lamps of Shiloh were dimming, and a new light was rising, the voice of a prophet who would guide Israel through its greatest transition. The days following the calling of Samuel were heavy with unrest. Israel had long forgotten the covenant that bound them to the Lord, and the Philistines pressed harder from the west. At Aphek, the Israelites gathered for war. Their confidence was not in repentance, but in the relic they carried, the Ark of the Covenant. "Let us fetch the Ark of the Covenant of the Lord out of Shiloh unto us," they cried. that when it cometh among us it may save us out of the hand of our enemies. 1 Samuel 4:3. Hophni and Phinehas, the sons of Eli, bore the ark into the camp. The people shouted, and the earth seemed to quake beneath their triumph. Yet in the heavens there was no echo of that shout. The Philistines trembled but steeled themselves, saying, "Be strong and quit yourselves like men." The battle that followed was a slaughter. Israel fled before the Philistines. The ark of God was taken, and the 2 sons of Eli were slain. When a messenger came running from the field to Shiloh, his clothes torn and dust on his head, he found the aged priest waiting by the road. "What is there done, my son?" Eli asked. The messenger's words came like hammer blows. "Israel is fled before the Philistines. Thy sons are dead, and the ark of God is taken." At that, Eli fell backward from his seat, broke his neck, and died, for he was old and heavy. 1 Samuel 4:18. That day the light of Shiloh went out. A child was born to Phinehas's wife, and she named him Ichabod. The glory has departed from Israel, for the ark of God was gone. 1 Samuel 4:21. Yet the power of the ark could not be contained by Philistine hands. From Ashdod to Ekron, the cities of the sea peoples were struck with plagues and terror. The statue of Dagon fell before the ark, its head and hands broken upon the threshold. Panic spread, and after 7 months the Philistines sent the ark back, carried upon a new cart drawn by milk cows, returning to the border of Beth Shemesh as if led by an unseen hand. 1 Samuel 6:12. When the people saw it, they rejoiced, yet fear mingled with awe, for the holiness of God had returned, and many who looked into the ark perished. The ark was taken to Kiriath Jearim, where it rested in the house of Abinadab, guarded by his son Eleazar. In those days, Samuel rose to leadership. From Mizpah to Gilgal, from Bethel to Ramah, he judged Israel and called the people back to their covenant. "If ye do return unto the Lord with all your hearts, then put away the strange gods, and Ashtaroth from among you, and prepare your hearts unto the Lord, and serve him only." 1 Samuel 7:3. The people repented, and at Mizpah they fasted and confessed their sins. But the Philistines heard that Israel had gathered, and their armies marched once more. The people cried to Samuel, "Cease not to cry unto the Lord our God for us, that he will save us." Samuel took a sucking lamb and offered it wholly unto the Lord. And as the Philistines drew near, the Lord thundered with a great thunder, discomfiting them so that Israel pursued and smote them. 1 Samuel 7:10. On that field, Samuel set up a stone between Mizpah and Shen, and called its name Ebenezer. Thus far hath the Lord helped us. Peace followed in his days, and the hand of the Lord was against the Philistines all the days of Samuel. But as Samuel grew old, his sons Joel and Abiah, whom he made judges in Beersheba, turned aside after dishonest gain, taking bribes and perverting justice. The elders of Israel came to Ramah and said, "Behold, thou art old, and thy sons walk not in thy ways. Now make us a king to judge us like all the nations." 1 Samuel 8:5. Samuel was grieved, and he prayed unto the Lord. But the Lord said, "Hearken unto the voice of the people, for they have not rejected thee, but they have rejected me, that I should not reign over them." Samuel warned them of the price of kingship, of sons drafted to war, of daughters made servants, of fields taken for royal use. Yet the people refused to listen. "Nay, but we will have a king over us." Thus the age of the judges neared its end, and the age of kings began. Among the tribes of Benjamin lived a man named Kish, a mighty man of power, whose son Saul stood head and shoulders above any in Israel. His beauty and stature made him the people's ideal of a king. One day, while searching for his father's lost donkeys, Saul's servant suggested that they seek the counsel of a seer in the town, the prophet Samuel. 1 Samuel 9:6. The Lord had already spoken to Samuel, saying, "Tomorrow I will send thee a man out of the land of Benjamin, and thou shalt anoint him to be captain over my people Israel." 1 Samuel 9:16. When Samuel saw Saul, the Lord whispered, "Behold the man." At the feast in Ramah, Samuel honored Saul, and the next morning poured oil upon his head, declaring, "Has not the Lord anointed thee to be captain over his inheritance?" 1 Samuel 10:1. When Saul turned to leave, God gave him another heart. Prophets met him on the road, and the Spirit of God came upon him, and he prophesied among them. Yet even in that anointing lay a warning, a gift that could be lost. At Mizpah, Samuel gathered the tribes and presented Saul before the people. See ye him whom the Lord hath chosen, that there is none like him among all the people. Then all the people shouted, God save the king. 1 Samuel 10:24. But some murmured, how shall this man save us? The first test came swiftly. Nahash the Ammonite besieged Jabesh Gilead, and Saul, filled with righteous fury, gathered the tribes and struck the Ammonites with a decisive blow. The people rejoiced, crying for those who had doubted him to be put to death. But Saul restrained them, saying, There shall not a man be put to death this day, for today the Lord hath wrought salvation in Israel. At Gilgal, Samuel stood before the rejoicing people and delivered his final public address as judge. Behold, I have hearkened unto your voice in all that ye said unto me, and have made a king over you. He called heaven and earth as witnesses of his integrity, and then warned them, If ye will fear the Lord and serve him, then shall both ye and your king continue following the Lord your God. But if ye shall still do wickedly, ye shall be consumed, both ye and your king. 1 Samuel 12:14-25. Thunder rolled from a clear sky as a sign from heaven, and the people trembled, realizing the gravity of their choice. Years passed. Saul's reign brought victories, but his heart drifted from obedience. When commanded to wait for Samuel before offering sacrifice, Saul grew impatient. As the Philistine army gathered, he took the priestly duty into his own hands. 1 Samuel 13:9. The moment the offering burned upon the altar, Samuel arrived. His voice was filled with sorrow. Thou hast done foolishly, thou hast not kept the commandment of the Lord thy God. Thy kingdom shall not continue. The Lord hath sought him a man after his own heart. This was the first fracture, the second would break him completely. When Saul was commanded to utterly destroy Amalek and all that belonged to them, he spared King Agag and the best of the livestock, claiming it was for sacrifice. 1 Samuel 15:9. But the word of the Lord came to Samuel, It repenteth me that I have set up Saul to be king, for he is turned back from following me. Samuel confronted Saul, and the king pleaded, I have obeyed the voice of the Lord. But the prophet's voice thundered, Hath the Lord as great delight in burnt offerings and sacrifices as in obeying the voice of the Lord? Behold, to obey is better than sacrifice, for rebellion is as the sin of witchcraft, and stubbornness is as iniquity and idolatry. 1 Samuel 15:22-23. He turned to leave, but Saul seized his robe, and it tore. Samuel looked down and said, The Lord hath rent the kingdom of Israel from thee this day, and hath given it to a neighbor of thine, that is better than thou. And Samuel went no more to see Saul until the day of his death. Yet he mourned for him, for the Lord had rejected Saul from being king. In the quiet fields of Bethlehem, God's eye rested upon a new vessel, a shepherd boy, the youngest son of Jesse. The Lord said to Samuel, How long wilt thou mourn for Saul, seeing I have rejected him? Fill thine horn with oil and go. I will send thee to Jesse the Bethlehemite, for I have provided me a king among his sons. 1 Samuel 16:1. Fearful, for Saul still reigned, Samuel obeyed. In Bethlehem, the elders trembled at his coming, and Jesse's sons were presented before him. Eliab, the eldest, tall and strong, stood first, and Samuel thought, Surely the Lord's anointed is before him. But the voice of God whispered, Look not on his countenance or on the height of his stature, for the Lord seeth not as man seeth. For man looketh on the outward appearance, but the Lord looketh on the heart. One by one the sons passed before him, until none were chosen. Are here all thy children? Samuel asked. Jesse answered, There remaineth yet the youngest, and behold, he keepeth the sheep. They sent for him, and David came ruddy and fair of eyes, and the Lord said, Arise, anoint him, for this is he. Samuel took the horn of oil and anointed him in the midst of his brethren, and the Spirit of the Lord came upon David from that day forward. 1 Samuel 16:13. Thus began the quiet preparation for a kingdom. David returned to his flock, while Saul's spirit grew dark and tormented. The Spirit of the Lord departed from him, and an evil spirit troubled him. At his servant's suggestion, David was brought to court as a musician, soothing the king with his harp. Unseen by Saul, destiny wove its web around them both. As David rose in renown, slaying Goliath, leading armies, winning the hearts of the people, Saul's jealousy deepened. Samuel, now old, withdrew to Ramah, where a company of prophets gathered around him. To them he spoke of the days of the judges, of the holiness of obedience, of the coming of a man after God's own heart. The world was changing, from the tribal confederation of judges to the structured monarchy of kings. Yet the prophet watched from afar, knowing that what began in faith might yet be tested in blood. The friendship of David and Jonathan, the son of Saul, was noble and pure, but Saul's envy turned to madness. Spears were thrown, armies pursued, and David fled as an outlaw. Once Saul sought Samuel in Naioth, hoping to seize David, but as Saul approached, the Spirit of God came upon him, and he too prophesied, stripped of his royal pride, lying helpless before the presence of the prophet. 1 Samuel 19:23-24. It was a sign. The kingdom was passing, and Saul could not grasp it. Time passed. Samuel aged, and his hair turned white as wool. Yet the fire in his eyes never dimmed. He had seen kings rise and fall, priests fall to corruption, and the people of Israel groaned beneath their choices. He had anointed both the rejected and the chosen. The end came quietly. In Ramah, Samuel dwelt among his people, still judging Israel in his last days. His house stood near the altar he had built to the Lord, a place of both rest and remembrance. The scriptures record with solemn brevity, "And Samuel died, and all the Israelites were gathered together and lamented him and buried him in his house at Ramah." 1 Samuel 25:1. His death left a silence deeper than mourning. For Samuel had been the voice of God to a generation, the bridge between the age of priests and the age of kings, between Eli's ruin and David's rise. Saul, bereft of guidance and trembling before battle, sought the Lord. But the Lord answered him not, neither by dreams, nor by prophets, nor by Urim. Desperate, he turned to the forbidden, a medium at Endor, and asked her to summon Samuel's spirit. 1 Samuel 28:7. From the shadowed earth, the woman saw an old man covered with a mantle. Saul bowed low, trembling. The prophet's voice, grave and distant, echoed like judgment. "Why hast thou disquieted me to bring me up?" Saul cried, "I am sore distressed. The Philistines make war against me, and God is departed from me." Then came Samuel's final prophecy. "The Lord hath done to thee as he spake by me, because thou obeyedst not the voice of the Lord. Moreover, the Lord will deliver Israel with thee into the hand of the Philistines. Tomorrow shalt thou and thy sons be with me." 1 Samuel 28:17-19. And so it came to pass. Saul fell on his own sword at Mount Gilboa, and the kingdom passed to the shepherd boy Samuel had anointed long ago. Through Samuel, the last judge, the era of divine theocracy had given way to the monarchy. His life spanned the transition of Israel from scattered tribes to a united kingdom. A prophet whose words shaped dynasties, whose obedience opened the path for David, the man after God's own heart. As David ascended to the throne, the echoes of Samuel's ministry resounded. In the Psalms and the songs of Zion, the faith of Hannah lived on. The torch passed from prophet to king, yet the covenant remained unbroken. And though Samuel's voice faded from the earth, his legacy endured, a testimony that God still speaks to those who listen. From the barren cry of a mother to the anointing of kings, from the silence of Shiloh to the trumpet of monarchy, the life of Samuel stands as a bridge of faith and fire between man and God. For in every age there must be one who hears when others sleep, one who answers in the night, saying, "Speak, Lord, for thy servant heareth." And so the era of Samuel came to an end, the prophet who was born of prayer, who heard the voice of God when Israel's lamp burned low. Through his life, the Lord shaped a nation lost between the chaos of judges and the discipline of kings. He anointed Saul and he anointed David, and in doing so, ushered in the monarchy that would define Israel's destiny. Yet Samuel himself remained a figure apart, standing between heaven and earth, between divine command and human weakness. His story reminds us that God's voice, often comes in the stillness of the night, not through power, but through obedience. Samuel's faith laid the foundation for the kingdom of David, whose throne would foreshadow the eternal reign of Christ. His legacy endures not in monuments, but in the hearts of those who still say, as the boy once did beneath the flickering lamp of Shiloh, "Speak, Lord, for your servant is listening." As the age of prophets fades into the dawn of kings, the anointed shepherd will rise, David, son of Jesse, and through him the promise will take root once more. Hit that like button, subscribe, and turn on the bell. More Bible figures await.